This one was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Dan in Australia. I love your blistering takes on the crappier side of modern wrestling. However, I notice you tend to shy away from ever blistering or blaming Vince McMahon for awful WWE segments or booking decisions. You say things like, "Oh, it's because of those dozens of useless writers," or "That's not the Vince I knew from 20 years ago." But now we have zombies. Around the ring is lumberjacks and eating John Morrison and frog-face Miz. Can you just cut the shit and say, this was fucking awful, and the only reason it appears on WWE television is because Vince McMahon wanted it to? Or are you still angling for a Hall of Fame induction one day?
I would say that it would be both of their faults. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Vince McMahon has never had the idea that zombies should eat any wrestler on one of his programs. That came from the writers. Vince then said okay for some reason, because whatever's happened, and Vince is either on medication or not on medication. I'm not sure what has caused Vince to be the Vince of today. But I take Vince to task all the time. I take Vince to task about shit that he did while I was fucking there. But part of it is the Ole Anderson rule, in that I used to think Vince was bad, but so many other motherfuckers have come along that have stupider ideas about wrestling than Vince that he's moved up the ladder. We've said has been, and I don't know about now, but for 40 years, he was a great promoter. Not ever said he was a great booker, and he's never been a finish guy. And he has that bizarre thing in his head where he wants wrestling to be phony and just a show. And he's made it work for his company, and it's doomed the entire rest of the business because that's not the way wrestling works. So now it's shot. But do we take it easy on Vince? Or, I'm not trying to, but at the same point, I've known him and worked with him, and I don't understand how anybody can even think they would have pitched something like this to Vince 20 years ago and not been fired, as I've mentioned, drug tested, whacked over the head with a briefcase, whatever. This is stuff that Vince would have scoffed at or looked at you like you were out of your mind. And I'm wondering if, how much does he just not give a fuck anymore? I don't know.
What's scarier is he gives a fuck.
Okay, I can't explain it, but I'm not trying to take it easy on Vince. But at least I know that Vince McMahon has in the past done things that were valuable in the wrestling business of some description, whereas these comedy writers have never done anything valuable anywhere. So it's easy for me to pick on them. But I don't think it's taking it easy on Vince when you and I both are out here all the time talking about how, well, the goddamn Raw show is so fucking rotten. We'd rather have our fucking second circumcision of the day than fucking watch it or whatever. But no, I'm not hangling or angling, either one, for a Hall of Fame induction. That horse has left the barn. I'd have to go out in public to accept it at this point. So that horse has left the barn a long time ago.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, if I'm angling for a job with WWE, Vince will forget everything I just said in about a minute.
Oh, see? Come on.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I say bad things about Vince all the time.
I hate to see him looking human. That's something that we thought would never happen.